Hey traders, checking in on the stock market today. So we knew to be looking for daily lower highs either today or tomorrow. It certainly looks like they were set today. We had gap up opens for selling. We'll go over an NIO trade that worked out to perfection as far as the setup coming to me. And we'll look at where we stand into tomorrow. So I'm just coming off a lot of running around. I'm red in the face and it's hard to breathe. So I'll do my best. But we are looking at potential tops being set on the bounces for our QQQ sector and the names that are correlated to it, whether it's MJ or EV names or solar sector, the ARC ETFs. So SPY is a bearish reversal candle on the daily after a significant bounce. We know the SPY bulls have tons of space for a daily higher low to form, and we also took out one of our daily lower highs of resistance. So what I'm watching for tomorrow would be a break of 388.17 that would indicate daily consolidation is underway. We would then watch an hourly downtrend, and we would watch for signs that the hourly trend is changing back into a bull trend, for signs that a daily higher low is forming compared to 371.88. So keeping an eye out for bearish entries tomorrow. If you remember in the video yesterday, and I appreciate all the feedback, glad you all found that fib talk useful. But in the video yesterday, I said pretty much the open's going to dictate the direction I'm looking at. And I started this morning looking at QQQ, doing my warm-up and getting ready for the day at 6 to 7 a.m. I said, all right, I'm looking to buy consolidation. I'm looking to make bullish entries in either Tesla or NIO, scouting an hourly higher low. Anything, there we go, anything above the low of yesterday. Then we had data come out, economic data, CPI numbers came out at 8:30 a.m. And it was a completely different setup from there on out. No longer looking for bullish entries. We had gap up opens. So flipped, completely changed the direction I was looking on the day because of that price action. Saw big gap up opens in Tesla and NIO, considering they both ran almost 20% yesterday. And to see they were up 5 or 8% today, said, okay, that's overextended. I'm scouting a bearish entry. So I was live streaming on NIO and just said, I watched the first 2 minutes of trading, or the first 6 minutes, said, okay, big bull move out of the gate. I'm scouting a bearish entry. What I want to see is a big, at this point in time, we had not set the high of the day yet. So I said, I want to see a big enough pullback on the 2 minute time frame to then be scouting a 2 minute lower high and to look for a top fish play. So we pulled back, we saw a bounce. I made a bearish entry in the upper 44s. I put my stop above the high of the day, and then we pulled back and broke down and broke the low of the day. At that point in time, I did cover half of my position, and I probably covered it a little bit before then. I forget exactly where. Covered half my position, stop above the high of the day with wiggle room, and in a risk-free trade. If this is our daily lower high, I nailed it, and I'm going to have a solid win on the day. If it's not, I stop out, have no loss, and then I go back to the drawing board to find another trade. I then re-entered another short. I re-entered the half a position back again as we approached 45 up here. And it was in the upper 44s again. And then I calculated break even. I said, okay, re-entered the half again. My break even at this point is in the 45.40s. So I'm going to put my stop loss there, break even. NIO has a reputation for breaking resistance and pulling back and breaking support and bouncing. And this morning was a perfect example. We broke the low of the day, straight into a high of the day, straight into a low of the day. Have to give wiggle room in both directions if you're trading NIO. So then I covered my second half at the 2 minute EMA 12. Could have had a big win if I stayed aggressive, but I was just flipping the half position to ensure I remained comfortable in the half that I was going to hold. So exited here. At that point, my break even is in the upper 45s. Can't lose on the trade, and I just let it run. And I let it run, and I let it run, and it ended up being a really big winner. That being said, I saw this bounce from a 5 minute waterfall and 5 minute oversold condition. I said, man, am I really going to sit through this bounce and just hold this short knowing that we're going to bounce multiple percent? So I went into a different account and I traded this inverse head and shoulders. I saw this 2 minute lower high, lower low. Saw this inverse head and shoulders set up, and I made a bullish entry in a different account on this 2 minute higher low. Stop under 41 and looking for the bounce. And why didn't I just cover my short and then go long? Psychologically speaking, there are many times where I do that and I don't get back in the original trade and it doesn't play out on the time frame that I was looking for it to play out on. So I traded it bullish for a nice little flip and then just kept my short and kept it until the end of the day and went to go play Frisbee. So I covered it at the end of the day. And it looked like a setup was shaping up for a bounce to take place into the close. So I covered it, I believe, right around 41 here. Close the computer down, and we'll see what tomorrow brings with a fresh, clean slate. So finally, a nice big winner. Started March stumbling with 4 red days, which I haven't done in many months, 4 red days in a row. And now we've got 4 green days in a row and just getting back to all-time highs. And what was the pivot? For those of you who have been following the videos over the past 2 weeks, what changed? My hot tub reflection, where I realized I was not taking lunch breaks. I was sitting on the computer all day. I was not getting outside, and I need that refresh, mentally speaking, to stay sharp on the trading day. So what I'm looking for tomorrow on these names, I want a higher open, because if you give me a higher open, I'm going to top fish the high of today. And what I'm looking for is an hourly lower high, anything under 45.26, and then a bear break of the low of today to confirm an hourly downtrend and confirm the daily consolidation is underway. Perfect rejection from EMA 12 resistance. Look at QQQ. It's the same setup. So daily gap up into profit taking. Is our daily lower high set? The low of today has to break tomorrow. If we get a higher open tomorrow, I'm scouting an hourly lower high compared to 316.76. And then watching for the bears to try and confirm the hourly downtrend for daily consolidation to be underway. Remember the NASDAQ futures chart that we were watching? And remember the downtrend resistance line in videos a week ago, maybe last week. And I was saying that the next time we bounce, we're going to be scouting the daily lower high at this resistance level. And we perfectly rejected from it. I forgot about this resistance line. I knew to be scouting the daily lower high, but it took a member reminding me that we were rejecting from my downtrend resistance line. So I appreciate that heads up. But it's still in play. So that resistance line is in play and this support line is in play. Depends on the size of the pullback and the retracement. What does retracement look like? Does QQQ break the low of today straight into an hourly trend change? Does QQQ break the low of today and drop down 50% back from the bottom to the high of the bounce? This is information that is going to be useful to us. So I want a higher open tomorrow, and then I want to scout hourly lower highs with highs of today. IWM, big bull move, all-time high 230.32 is in play, less than 1% away. If we lose a pattern of a higher low each day, plenty of space for a daily higher low to form. Looks a lot like SPY in that regard. QQQ and SPY are completely different stories. Just in the sense of QQQ, we're saying, okay, can we form a daily higher low? If we see increasing bear volume, we can drop to a lower low from here. I've got a frog in my throat. But SPY has a lot more space to work with. So 4.3% back down to the low on QQQ. And SPY can drop. Wow, that's visually misleading. Same percentage. Roughly. Very interesting. So we'll be watching both. XLF, daily higher low is now set, 33.52. All-time high was 34.58. We broke a new all-time high. So just keeping these higher lows and higher highs going. We are keeping an eye out for a rising wedge. And I haven't attempted to draw this yet. Thanks for bearing with me. This is not my best vocal day. So I'll keep an eye on this. Take off extended hours. Get it a little tighter. That is a rising wedge to keep an eye on. We know we're going to lose the daily uptrend at some point into weekly consolidation, which hasn't happened in 5 or 6 weeks. Keep an eye on that rising wedge on XLF. Healthcare sector, daily inside bar. Look at the closes at the low of the day 3 days in a row. If the low of today breaks tomorrow, daily lower high is set. And you could say we broke the lower high, so we'll just say daily consolidation underway. And we have to form a higher low compared to 109.93. Everybody has to change the daily trend. SPY, IWM, XLV, prove follow through. A bounce is nice. Catching shorts off guard is nice. Have to follow through. And remember on Tesla and NIO, patient bulls are getting ready now. If you miss the initial bounce, this is a second chance looking for a daily higher low compared to 539. Biotech sector rejecting from daily EMA 12 resistance. When the pattern of a higher low every day breaks, daily lower high is set. So if the low of today breaks tomorrow, we're then scouting the hourly downtrend to change back to the bulls to try and set a daily high or low compared to 128.44. SMH, same story, gap up, all bears today. Not a very convincing bounce overall. We can see another leg down in these names. TAN, solar sector, not a very strong bounce. All about the recent lows. They will come back into play when lows, if lows of today break tomorrow. Same thing for MSOS. I exited half of my long position today. We had Cureleaf earnings. No red flags there, but as soon as I saw the reaction, if Cureleaf went red, I know that, okay, if they're going to sell on the earnings reaction, we can drop hard. It's thinly traded. And so I had a really good exit at 46.13, right under the high of the day. The second I saw Cureleaf go red, I sold half of my MSOS exposure. And really happy with that decision because it makes balancing my portfolio exposure to the bull side a lot easier. And maybe I'll make another re-entry, but for now, just greatly limiting exposure because this bounce is not proving anything to me. And we can see another leg down. So I want to protect against that. The VIX, still closing weak. Again, all-time highs in the financial sector. So we're looking at this low of 22.50 and 22.40 is the low of today. But again, just no sign of any bounce. And we have to see weakness in all of our sectors for a solid green volatility day. The metals had a good day today. We got to look at the dollar first. So I know we had a bond auction as well. And again, looking at the CPI numbers and the impact they had, honestly, I just don't look at any of those things to trade. And someone was asking me, what were the CPI numbers and what were they expected to be? I have absolutely no idea. And that had zero impact on the trades that I took today. So yes, the price going up was relevant to shift my game plan, but I don't care why it's going up. And that really helps me personally flush any narratives and just trade price levels. So the dollar pulled back. Daily consolidation is underway. Anything above 90.63 is a daily high or low. And we're certainly looking for that daily high or low, but 2 days of consolidation and the metals are seeing 2 days of bounce. 4-hour trend change on gold. Zooming out, we know we're just looking for a lower high. I would call anything under 18.16 a lower high. And again, we can use our fib retracement levels. And we can see that we're just now at the 382 retracement. Bulls want to make their way to the 50% and beyond to try and shape up the daily trend change, which will be needed for bounce follow through. Silver, 4-hour, same thing. Continuation of the uptrend. Zoom out, daily lower high, most likely scenario. How much bounce follow through can we get? How much dollar pullback can we get? Miners, daily inside bar. If they break bearish, our daily lower high is very quickly set, and we're looking back down at $44. And if it breaks bullish, our lower high has not been set yet, and the most important resistance for me remains 50.65. Keeping an eye on this falling wedge-like pattern, but it's going to require a daily high or low in the metals, just like we're watching for in Tesla and NIO and all these names. The metals are essentially one step behind. You look at QQQ, today was day 3 of the bounce. Metals are on day 2 of the bounce. Oil, daily high or low trying to be set. 4-hour time frame. You could call this a trend change attempt if the bulls can break 64.95. So if and when we change this 4-hour trend and break 64.95 resistance, we'll say our daily high or low is set, and we'll be looking back up at 67.98 resistance. Natural gas, trying to set the daily higher, not the higher low, but trying to get a daily bounce going. 4-hour getting over EMA resistance. Still not a 4-hour trend change. We will need that, but just the fact that we are over 4-hour EMA 12 resistance is notable for the first time in 5 days. That being said, we will just be looking for a daily lower high compared to 2965. Bitcoin, all-time highs back in the picture. That's where my largest exposure is right now. So other than that, we are watching for breaks of the lows of today, tomorrow to indicate daily consolidation. And then we're watching how much pullback do we get? What does the bear volume look like on the pullback? What is the retracement size? Can the bulls set up daily trend changes into next week on all of these names that are correlated to QQQ? Let's see if we get a higher open to be scouting hourly lower highs. Tomorrow, GME going insane again. GME all over the place with volatility. How's that for a trading range? 172 to 348. I did a lot of little small position flips in GME today. Just trying to get back in that flow state. And close to doing so. Today definitely felt good. So, that's where we stand. Thanks for bearing with me. No more sprinting until I can't breathe before videos. Don't forget to do good things. Don't forget self-reflection. Again, that was the pivot point. That stopped my red streak and started my green streak. And that's sometimes all it takes. Just a little psychological light bulb going off. Change the routine a little bit. Get that flow back. So I appreciate you watching. And we'll check back in tomorrow and see if we get these daily lower highs confirmed. See you then.